How's it going, everyone? Welcome back to the MineRaft server. As always, I am Door, and today we are going to be starting a new modded series. The main mod of this pack is going to be Create. That's what we're going to be using to handle all of our ore processing or setting up any of the automated farms that we're going to have running for ourselves. There's also a bunch of little minor mods as well. We have Tinker's Construct, we have the Sophisticated Backpacks, we also have a mod that I think is called Origins. I'm not too sure on that, but right now I went ahead and picked our class already. We are currently a Merlin, so these guys are effectively a fish species. So we have gills to allow us to breathe underwater, we swim a little bit faster, we have wet eyes, which is effectively night vision underwater, and the last two abilities that we get with this class is that we don't sink when we're in the water, which is nice, and we also get Aqua Affinity, which allows us to break blocks like we're normally on land. So it speeds the whole process up here pretty nicely. I've already found our base location, and I've kind of gathered up a bunch of resources, not as much as I would have liked to get, but we got some stuff going here. Our base is going to be in this cave system that's flooded, and the idea here is we're going to have like a little sunken city, potentially. I don't know how many buildings we're going to put down here and how well the Create thing is going to work with being underwater, so we're probably gonna have to dry places out. I'm not too sure here, but naturally we had a sunken ship right here on the hole to the cave, so I wanted to make it like we were shooting down other boats, or sinking other boats I should say. So I want to build a boat over here that's like crashed forward and then angling up that way, like we broke the front of it and it sunk straight down, and then around the hole I want to build some more boats. I'm not gonna go too crazy with the boats, maybe like 4 or so, maybe, give or take. I don't know, we'll see how badly I hate doing that. But I want to have a couple more sunken boats around here, and then I want to have one boat that has crashed into the island above our hole entrance here. So I think that might look kind of good if I can actually execute it pretty well. And then up here, we're probably going to turn it into a tree farm, or we're going to have all of that stuff underground with us. But if we do end up putting it underground, then we are going to have like an air pocket for the trees to grow in, which isn't too bad, right? We can have a nice big area because we can automate the whole tree cutting process with Create as we start getting into that stuff. There's also a cannon in Create that I think would look pretty cool on the boats here once we get them built. I don't know if it'll work too well on this one already because it's sideways like this. I don't know if you can place this wherever you want or directionally. If you can, then cool, we can go ahead and throw some into this thing. If not, then it is what it is. I also can't build anything from Create at the moment because we need the alloy. And for the alloy, we are going to need andesite. So I need to go find some of that. I don't have any. I have cobble, I have stone, I have everything else but andesite because I just didn't realize that was needed. So the first thing that I want to make is actually the cannon, just to see if this is even going to work or if I need to kind of plan the build differently slightly. I mean, this is just going to be like a little add-on to it anyways, not really super important. And let's see, can we place this like on the stair? That looks like it's facing straight on still. It's not facing upward. Yeah, we might be able to change the direction of it with the wrench, but I need to go make that now. It's this guy right here, which actually we can't do right now. We need to make a press to make the gold sheets. So we might have the stuff to do that as well. It's fairly cheap. We are going to need a little bit more of the andesite alloy and one of the andesite casings, which is fairly simple to do as well. Yeah, we just right-click on a log. Okay, that's doable. Let me whip one of those together. We're also going to need some power coming in, so we're going to need some of the gears and the gear shift and all that stuff as well. So let me get a bunch of this stuff put together. So I'm most likely missing something, but we'll figure that out here in a second. So we got the crusher, we got the depot. The depot needs to go on the bottom here, and then this needs to go on top of the depot. Like that. It should be where it needs to be. And all we got to do now is power this thing. So we have a couple options. One of them I don't think is going to work down here, period, which is a windmill. The only other things that we have available after that is a water wheel and a hand crank. So I'm going to try and get a water wheel working down here. The recipe is pretty straightforward, and I didn't craft one of them because I'm a genius. But we're going to go ahead and build a little box back here and then drain the water out of that and then put the water back in because you have to have flowing water, I do believe, to get that thing up and running. Well, let's see if this works. We need to plop a water source up there, and that's going to get running. And hopefully that's all we need to do. I'm not too sure here. I'm going to close this off nonetheless, though, and we should have this thing running potentially, or we're producing too much torque. I think we might also need the wrench to see that, but it looks like it's spinning. All right, well, let's see if this works. Can we place this on there? We can. And it's going to crunch it. to make it into a plate. That's good. It's going to do one at a time, or did that just float away? No, it's still on the table. Okay. So I'm going to wait until it's done, and then I guess maybe we just pick it right back up off the thing. All right, cool. All we do is right-click it. I was a little worried that it was just going to float away from us down here, but that's good. So we can do the iron as well. We needed a couple gold for a wrench. So the recipe was, yep, 3 of those, a cog, and a stick. We have that in our inventory. Let me go back up here and craft that as well. And are we going to be able to turn this thing vertically? No. Dang it. Well, I think it's going to look good nonetheless on the horizontal ships, not the sunken sideways ones like this. So it'll look all right nonetheless. I also want to automate our tree harvesting today because we're going to need a bunch of wood to get all of these ships built around our base that I want to build. And in order to do that, we're going to need at least 1 mechanical saw, as well as potentially 1 deployer. I don't know how automated I can make this thing today. We might be able to do this and power it, but we are most likely going to have to do it manually still to get the trees planted and wait for them to grow. But if we're able to, we could potentially automate it just a bit more. So that's just a generic one. But this is going to allow us to have it running, right? And it'll cut a tree down from the base to the top in one fell swoop here, which is pretty nice, right? The pack also doesn't have vein mine in it, so this is going to be the best way for us to harvest a bunch of stuff in one go. So especially the trees here, this is going to come in handy. So what we want to try and do is either the first one here, right? Just have it powered somewhere where we can drop a sapling down and have it harvest. Or at some point, we can try this one and have it kind of automated to be moving and cutting trees down in an area. I don't know if we can actually do that today because, like I said, we might need the finger thing, which we can't actually make. We need, what was it? It was like red alloy or something to make that, which is sandpaper, which is actually super cheap. We also need a rose quartz, which is super cheap as well. But the thing is, I can't go in the nether right now unless I want to have my inventory just full of water bottles, which at the moment is going to be kind of a pain. Although I could potentially get respiration later on, and it would help me survive a little bit longer in scenarios where I don't have any water around me. But right now, I can't quite do that, so instead of automating it completely, I'm just going to make maybe 1 or 2 of these things and try and power them probably with other water wheels as well, since, I mean, we're kind of surrounded by water at the moment. So for right now, I'm just going to place it right here, and this should harvest any trees that are in this area at least, right? We can have a 2x2 or a single tree, and it should harvest them regardless. So now we got to plug this into the power as well, but I'm actually just going to run its own little water wheel so we don't have to run a cable thing from all the way down there as well. So let's do one of those. That's actually not in the water. That's not good. Okay. You know what? Actually, that is kind of good because then we can go above it and we can just drop a water bucket on it, and there we go. It's going to start producing power, which is fine. It looks wonky, but again, this is going to be temporary, and we'll worry about it, about making it look a little bit better when we start moving things down here into our base area. But that's going to have that running. Let me grab a sapling and bone meal if I got the bone meal for it. Okay, there we go. So we got the tree going. It is indeed cutting this thing down. We might be able to make this a little bit quicker if we start throwing in the secondary gearing and all that stuff, but I'm not honestly too sure. Oh, I'm taking drown damage. Oops. Okay. That should go away in a second. That's fine. But this is at least going to work. Now, the other thing that we need to worry about is gathering all that stuff back up and going into a chest. So very quickly here, let me take a look through the create stuff and try and figure out what we need for that. I believe we need the dropper thing, or the chute. So let's place this right here. That doesn't look right at all. That might not be what we need. I'm going to run one more tree and see if that automatically sucks the things back up. I don't think it's going to. That really doesn't look like it's the right thing. We also might have to just glue a chest to the side of that thing, which we can do. So let me make a thing of glue if I can find that. Yeah, I'm not even going to let this thing finish. I know that's most likely wrong. So let's try and glue. I can't glue anything to this. That's not a good sign. All right, so the ponder thing is really helpful, and me ignoring it really didn't do me any favors there. So we're going to need these things, the linear chassis. With that, we then need to glue onto it. If I could breathe for 2 seconds, game. Let's throw some glue on here. It's not letting me throw any glue on here. Uh-oh. Wrong glue gun, I guess. You know what? Now that I have the actual glue, it might work this way, and we don't actually need the other thing. So let me try this first. If I could get this thing to go the right way. Nope. Dang it. So maybe... I don't know, though. It let me glue, and it didn't do anything different. So I'm going to plop the tree back, wait for it to grow, and see if it goes into the chest. If it does, great. If not, we'll try it again with the linear chassis stuff. All right, so I'm actually just going to try it over here on the trees near our base because our tree over there isn't growing, and I don't have bone meal to speed up the process here. So we're just going to try it here and see if this is even going to work the way that we have it set up over there. So let me glue that. Let me throw a chest onto it. And hopefully that works. Maybe, maybe not. So this is going to be cutting the tree down, which it is. And once it's done, if it all goes into the chest, then we know the other setup is good to go. If this all just falls on the floor, then we'll try again with the other thing that we just got. Well, it all stayed on the floor, so let's try the other way with the, whatchamacallits, the chassis, so that we can see if that's going to work. If that doesn't also work, then... I don't know how to do this. We'll have to try and figure that one out, but we'll use this tree for that whole process here. All right, so I have the sawmill glued to the chassis and then the chest glued to the chassis as well, which actually I think I don't have glued anymore because I had to move it. And there we go. Okay. And do I have to do that here as well? Oh, I do. Okay. Is the saw moving now? The saw is still not moving. That's concerning. Maybe we don't have to have it plugged in like this, and that might be what's causing the issue. So let's move things around slightly, and we can have this get plugged in directly, but then we need the chassis off the side, and then we can have the chest... I'm going to take so much damage. We can have the chest off the backside here. Let me do one of those, one of these, and then... I don't know how to clear... Oh, I guess we just punch it. Okay, cool. Let's do that. That should have everything connected. We can plug it in like that. And it's cutting down the tree, which is good. And if everything goes into the chest this time, then we're good to go. Which I have a feeling it's not going to go into the chest again, if I'm being honest here. So let's see. And it sure did not go in there. Okay. Huh. How do I automate stuff in Create then? I could have sworn you just throw a chest on things and it just pulls things into it. All right, so I feel like I'm doing it right because on the ponder thing here, it goes through this cycle here and then it throws a chest on it and it says whenever a chest is on it, it automatically picks up the drops. So either we can't put it on the side like I have there, and that's what's causing it to not work, or we have to just have it on top, I guess, like the ponder thing has. So... Let me clear that, and then it also didn't look like it glued it to the thing. Let me just do that. And again, we're going to have to wait for a tree to grow, so it kind of defeats the purpose of why we're over here. And since we already know this one's wrong, we can break this stuff down. Actually, we can break it down and then have the chassis on the side. Right, and then we can have the chest on top of that, potentially. If I can grab the right thing, that would be ideal here. And then maybe we glue it all together. Again, I'm not sure on that one, but this is going to take a little while to grow still, so I'm going to go check the other one and swim back and forth. We're probably going to move that one, honestly, to a different tree, because I don't really feel like waiting to see if that's going to work or not. So attempt number 3 here, it also shows in the ponder thing that it's just connected like that. The only difference is there is a big piston pushing the whole thing, which I guess is what's transferring the power, which is this guy, which we could do that. That's not too bad. But yeah, this is also just not working. So maybe we do need that mechanical piston to be able to power through the chassis here, I guess. All right, so let's see if this works here. So we're going to need that going the other way, something like that. And then we can have the power coming out the backside of it and going into another water wheel, which is going to be pretty straightforward. And let's see if that works, or if I need to glue more of the things together here. It doesn't look like the saw is running, so that's not good. Maybe this isn't how you glue stuff. Maybe we do have to put glue here for it to work, right? And then, oh, yeah. Oh, no, we're taking damage from drowning. Okay, never mind. I thought the saw was on. Even with it going straight, it's not running. That's glued together. That's glued together. The chest is the only one that's not physically glued on the bottom there. And I don't know how else I would get this to work. I built it pretty much the same way that it's built in the ponder thing. So Not really sure what I'm doing wrong here. Let's do that and then link everything together as well. Right? Something like that, maybe. The tree is not getting cut. Okay, hold on. Let me double check the ponder thing one more time here and see if there's something blatant that I'm missing here. Oh, you know what I'm missing? I'm missing the fact that it's plugged into the side and not the back side of it. So we can probably only deliver power to the little stone section of the thing, not the backside where the extensions are supposed to go. My bad. Okay, with that slight change, is this thing working now? It sure isn't. It sure isn't. Okay. Oh, I guess that would also help if we just look at it, right? It needs the extension things in it. So let's do that. And now it should be working. Maybe. Potentially. Who knows? I don't. All right. Well, I have no idea what I'm doing wrong here. The shaft is spinning on this thing now. So it should push this forward, but it's not doing anything. And I don't know how to make this one whole unit. Let's try that and see if, I guess, gluing everything together for the 5th time here is going to make it work. It sure isn't. So I went and made the glasses so we can see the stuff on this, and maybe we're not producing enough power is my guess here. So let's plop down another axle and plop a thing on this side as well. This is the water wheel from the other farm that we have set up over there. That isn't working currently. And it doesn't look like we need to put water on it for some reason. Just do that. And it broke the thing immediately. Okay, well, I don't know if it's a power thing, because now we have 2 of the water wheels down, and it's just not pushing the thing forward. So I'm not sure what I'm missing here. I pretty much built it exactly how it is in the ponder thing here, minus the cog wheels to have it, I guess, generating more torque. So that's the only thing I can probably think of, but I mean, surely these are producing enough power to push the thing. We're not having a giant machine built. It's also not sending any power to the blade, so I don't really know. Unless we're not supposed to use the chassis things, which I guess would make sense, because it looks like the chassis in this thing, but it could also be something else that look like it, but aren't. I completely didn't see there's an identify button here, so let's see. We got a mechanical piston, that's what we have down. We've got linear chassis, which is what we have down, as well as mechanical saws. So I don't know what else we can do here. It's not working. Even with my glasses on, I don't see anything wrong with this, other than something potentially not being glued, which could potentially be the issue, but again, it's not sending power to the blade, and I don't know how to fix that. Okay, so if this doesn't work, then I'm out of ideas here, because now it's built exactly how it's built in the ponder thing, and it's not moving. The only difference between this and the ponder is the big wheel's below the little wheel here, which I guess could be spinning it in the wrong direction. It might need to be spinning clockwise instead of counterclockwise, looking at it like this, which... Man, okay, that's probably the issue, right? Something so stupid as that is what's causing the issue here, right? Okay, maybe this rotates the wheel the correct way, and it did. Oh, it was something as simple as that. I can't believe it took us that long to figure. It took me that long to figure that out. That was so simple. Oh man. Okay, well, I feel real dumb right now. And also, the chest did not stay glued to the thing. So that's not cool. And let's see if we're going to need the gears this time to get the water wheel spinning the correct direction. We should be going the right way, but we don't have any of the extended things down, so let's plop one of those here. And it's spinning the right way this time. It's just not running again. Okay, maybe we do need the gears then to produce a little bit more power, I guess is what that's doing. Hey, there we go. It moved again, but it also didn't take the chest. So I don't know how to get that to work. It also just broke the thing and didn't actually harvest a tree. So that's not good. Maybe we how do we get this back now? Do we stop the water and it comes back? Nope. Okay. We're going to need something to shift the rotation there, which I'm guessing is going to be a gearbox, most likely. Okay, so I want to try one more time to see if we can get this to work without needing that piston, because I don't really need this thing moving. Okay, so is that going to turn the blade? It is not going to deliver any power to the blade. So I guess we actually do need that piston thing for right now. until we use something else potentially as well. There might be other things that we can use. I don't really need this thing moving though. So let me break this stuff down. It could also just be going the wrong way and it's wasting my time here, but it should be fine. I'm going to plop the piston back down so we can push this. Okay, glue that. Let me plop that there. And we got to rotate this to that way. I got to jump back in the water again. I died also, by the way, here a second ago. That's why we have only 7 levels now. I think we were at like 26 or something. But taking damage. I don't have food to be replenishing health over and over again. I blew through all my fish messing with the other one over there. Anyways, though, let's see if we can get away with only having just that itself. Right? We don't need it to move. And if we can, that would be great. So let's do one of those, one of the little ones, one of the big wheels as well. Actually, we're going to throw another little wheel into it as well because we are in a little shallow part of the map here and I don't feel like digging. So we'll see if this works here in a second. We're also going to have another death here also. And moment of truth here, is that going to work? It is spinning the correct way, I think. At least the bar here is. We're not getting any power through. So, yeah, we need to give it 1 pull at least, which I don't really want to do because it's just going to break the chest again. Well, it's cutting the log, and it broke it, and again, it didn't take the chest with it or put anything into the inventory. I made sure to glue it that time. I've also tried the other gluing one where we have everything highlighted in green, and it's still not moved the chest with the thingy. So honestly, I'm confused here. All right, so I don't know what I did differently, but it actually moved the chest this time around. I have everything glued. I've double glued everything. I've glued this thing together. I've glued the chest to that little chassis section. It all moved together. So now, honestly, I don't know how to get it to go back. Maybe a clutch. I was trying to get this thing to just rotate the whole thing backwards, but it's not letting me do that. Yeah. So I'm probably going to need a clutch or some other way of getting the rotation to go the other way. So we're not going to need a clutch. A clutch is going to allow us to disable the rotational force going through the axle here, which we don't want to do. We want to have it going the opposite way. So for that, we are going to need a gear shift, which is also a fairly straightforward recipe. So let me get one of those together. And this should be up and running here in just a second. All right, so with the redstone signal, this should allow us to pull that back, and it did. But of course, things are not glued together. Oh, man. Okay. So let's do that. Do one of those. Push this back forward. Hopefully it sticks back together, because if not, then I'm going to be quite annoyed. Oh, my goodness. It didn't stick together. Oh, okay. All right. All right. I'm going to try this before I do anything else. Let's grab this and then glue it all the way to the front like that. And maybe... Nope, of course it didn't pull it. Okay, oh man, I'm gonna tear that all apart here in a second. You know what? It probably didn't work because you can make this into a sticky piston. That's my bad. I didn't realize that was even an option. So now, hopefully here, it should stick together immediately here. We probably didn't need the glue on that side. I guess we'll see here in a second. Can we pull that back? We can. Oh, sweet. Sweet. Okay. But anyways, I think that's where we're going to be wrapping up today's episode. We got a tree farm partially automated, not completely automated. I would like this part to be automated to pull it back and push it forward on its own so I don't have to come over here and hit the switch over and over again, because it doesn't seem like the tree wants to actually grow if I leave the saw blades right here. It's, I think, probably a full block, and it's having issues with this thing to grow. This thing's also been planted here for about an hour, probably an hour and a half real time, and it's just not wanting to grow for some reason. It could just be a weird sapling as well. So let me just place that back down. But yeah, if I could just leave this thing here and the saplings are going to keep growing, then I'm fine with that. If I have to have this thing going back and forth so the saplings can actually grow, then I have to try and figure out how to automate this. We might have to run a comparator to it or something from the trees to signal that it got broke with an observer or something, or there's also an option probably through Create itself that has some way of signaling this thing to pull it back over and over again. I'm not too sure here. This is my first time messing with Create, so bear with me here. But anyways, that is going to be it for today's episode, so I hope you guys enjoyed as always, and I will catch you in the next one. Thanks for watching!